So I need a faster laptop because I'm having a hard time writing with this thing keeping it up. I'm going to give you a similar example to number 2. See, like right now, I'm writing and nothing is showing up. Let's do 8 to the negative 5/3. Boy, that's annoying. Anyways, I need 2 rules. I need this rule that says x to the negative n is 1 over x to the n. I wonder if I'm having interference here. Let me unplug something. Let's get rid of that. I also need another rule. Talks about x to the p over r is the rth root of x to the p. See, this is not working. Those are 2 rules I need. So taking this 8 to the negative 5/3, I notice that negative symbol right there that I'm actually trying to circle right now, but nothing is happening whatsoever. This is 1 over 8 to the 5/3. That's my first step. I'm going to do the rewrite rule now using power over root. The power here is a 5. This is my power. This is my root. So this is 1 over the third root of 8. And that 8, believe it or not, that's an 8, is raised to the 5th. Let's try and do something similar for 2. Number 3, I just have to focus on this rule right here. I don't know why this is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. But that's the rule I'm focused on for number 3. Is it the color? Maybe it doesn't like red. I don't know. Here's my root. I had this working and then we went to break. Here is my power. This one's actually really simple. You've got a 6th root and you've got a 3x, and this is a common error. This is wrong. It's common wrong. I need to include parentheses. I need both pieces raised to the 5th power. 6, 3x to the 5th. Now, there's more you can do, but it just said rewrite using radical notation. So we're not going to make a mountain out of a molehill here. All right, rewrite using exponential notation. Again, I don't feel like doing all of these. Number 6, we have the understood 2. That is understood. Do I need to switch USB ports? I got to do something here. This is ridiculous. Try moving ports. 2 is understood. Now, if I think about my rule here, x to the p over r, hey, it's working better. I've got a root of 2, and my power, I spoke too soon, is equal to 3. So x here is whatever's in parentheses. What's in parentheses is a 5x minus a 2. And the new exponent here is going to be power over root 3/2. I'm really sorry, kids. I already got bad handwriting, but this is not working well. It's not recording everything it needs to be when I draw. And I'm not going to do 4 or 5. All right, evaluate without the use of a calculator. What you do need to remember here is that even roots have two answers, plus or minus. Odd roots doesn't matter if I go fast or slow, only 1. So I actually like to rewrite these with root notation. This would be the understood tooth root, square root of 16, all cubed. Now the square root of 16 is allowed to be either plus 4 or minus 4. And then I have to cube it. Now if I take a positive 4 and I cube it, I get 64. If I take a negative 4 and cube it, I get negative 64. You ought to know what number 8 is. Number 9 is only going to be one answer. We can look at it real quick. It's not a hard problem. You've got the cubic root of a negative 64 to the 4th power. The cubic root of a negative 64 is negative 4. And it's only negative 4. It's an odd root. Then you got to raise it to the 4th. That ought to be, if I'm thinking right, 256. It should be. I'll do 10 with you. We have that negative exponent. We're going to shift that up top. This thing becomes, if I can write, I'm going to try and move USB ports one more time here, kids. You don't see the frustration I'm having. But I am unable to write anything without tracing over it about 7 times. And I don't have that kind of patience. Try it again. This becomes 81 to the positive 3/4. All right, it is asking me to take the 4th root of 81 and sometimes you can put the 3 on the outside. Cube that. Because it's a lot easier to take the 4th root of 81 and then cube as opposed to taking the 4th root of 81 cubed. The 4th root of 81 would be a plus or a minus 3. Because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. And then I cube it. This is annoying. 3 cubed is 27, so plus or minus 27. I need to request a faster computer. That's what I need to do. Approximate using a calculator. I'm going to let you do that. You ought to be able to figure this out. You're going to have to use your exponential notation. None of these are too hard on this page. 17 is probably the hardest one on here. It does have two answers, because you're taking, I drew a circle there 3 times and that's what showed up. Because you're going to be taking an even root, you're going to add your 44, maybe. If you add 44 to 181, you should get 225. So you have x to the 2/3. It's 225. What you're going to do is you're going to counteract the 2/3 power with a 3/2 power. Use your reciprocal powers. Now I'm going to rewrite that as the square root. There's my 2, the understood 2. 225 cubed. Here we have a cancellation. Now the square root of 225 is 15, but it's plus or minus. Plus or minus 15. This is so annoying. Then I have to turn around and raise to the 3rd power. So I'm going to just cheat a little bit here because I'm already frustrated with this thing. 3375. Don't forget your plus or minus symbol. This is so annoying. There we go. As though my handwriting needed another reason to be bad. I was planning on doing 2 of these, but I'm getting pretty tired of messing with this pen here. All right, solve the equation using nth roots. If necessary, round your answer to the 100th position. You got to be careful on these because some of these have more than 2 answers. It doesn't say number 20 has 2 answers, but 20 does have 2 answers. Cube both sides, it has 2 answers. It has 2 solutions. But I'll let you do 19. I'm going to do 20 and probably 21. I'm going to subtract my 2 because that's easy, and I can do that. I teach by doing easy things first. I'm going to divide out that 2. And I'm going to have x plus 3. Whatever, equals 2. Now the opposite of the 4/3 power, and yes, that's a 3, you wouldn't know it, is the reciprocal, which is the 3/4. And if you raise the left to the 3/4, you had best raise the right to the 3/4 power. Anyways, that frees up x plus 3. Oh, this is annoying. This is equal to the fourth root of 2 cubed, which is 8. That's as far as I'm going to take it, because I have no idea what the fourth root of that is. I could use decimals if I wanted. Now, because I'm doing a fourth root, I have to include the plus or minus symbol. And I'm just going to move my 3 over. Maybe. There we go. And the other one I'm going to try to do is 19. And I'm getting pretty frustrated with my technology here. This should not have taken this long. Sorry, I'm going to do 21. 21's pretty easy. 21's just going to have, no, 21's going to have 2 answers too. I'm going to subtract my 3, maybe. If it's going to be like this, I'm not going to do y'all's homework anymore. This is frustrating. There we go. Now there's lots of ways of doing this one. You can convert into exponential form and things like that. I'm going to fix this root. This is a cubic root, so to fix it, I'm going to raise both sides to the third power. I'm going to attempt to raise both sides to the third power. And 4 cubed is going to be 64. Now, these 3's, they cancel each other out, and the radical disappears. All right, because now it's the first power, or the first root, which is itself. Now I have a square to fix. The opposite of squaring is square rooting. And here's where you have to start introducing your plus or minus symbol. Because you're solving for x here, because the power is actually a 2 that you're trying to figure out, you have to include plus or minus. And the square root of 64 is either plus or minus 8. Now all I need to do is I need to shift my 2 over. So x is, you ought to be able to keep up with me now, 2 plus 8, or 2 minus 8. 2 plus 8 is 10, or negative 6. There's my 2 answers. And I'm only doing one more because I'm beyond frustrated with how slow this thing is. And it's going to be number 24. This stuff is pretty easy. Simplify it. It's all about how many times this number enters that number. Now, the fifth root of negative 32 is negative 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 32. So negative 2. The fifth root of x to the fifth is x, because 5 enters 5 one time. The fifth root of y to the 30th is y to the 6th, because 5 enters 30 6 times. There we go. And I'm done messing with this. I am. This is incredibly annoying. That took 3 times as long as it should have. It's going to keep doing this. I'm back to seeing my left